दोन्ही काय म्हणतो
फॅन स्लो चालू स्लो गरम होण्यानंतर परत त्रास स्लो चालू 3 व्होल्ट
सर ऑनलाइन आहे प्लीज ऑनलाइन आहे ऑडिओ लाइव है.
Welcome for 4 days online certificate course on basic laparoscopy from 24th May to 2020 to 27th May 2020. Myself, Dr. G.S. Khandekar, Professor and Principal Investigator of RKUI, Department of Veterinary Surgery and Radiology, Mumbai Veterinary College, Mumbai. The minimum invasive technique of laparoscopy, so-called keyhole surgery, it has been used with increasing frequency nowadays. With keyhole surgery means very small incision and compared to the conventional method of surgery. So we can pass a telescope and we can visualize the organs and we can remove the larger organs and we can manipulate the many organs for surgery and diagnosis. Basically, telescope is used for the examinations of organ within the abdominal cavity. The telescope along with the camera particularly having different sizes 5 mm, 10 mm, 1.7 mm. So we can visualize the organs of different cavities like pelvic cavity, abdominal cavity, thoracic cavity, and we can go for the diagnosis and treatment and surgery of the any disease organs. The targeted organs can be approached easily without disturbing the adjusting vital organs or without damaging any vessels or blood vessels or any important organs as compared to conventional method. In conventional method, we are disturbing the many adjacent organs during the surgery. But in here in laparoscopy or endoscopy, we can go to the exactly to the targeted organ. And once you pass the telescope, you can explore the whole abdominal cavity, any lesions or anything in the abdominal cavity or pelvic cavity or thoracic cavity, which is not possible in conventional method of surgery. That's why the importance of minimally invasive laparoscopy and endoscopy has great importance in human as well as veterinary. It gives actual visibility and status of color, size, texture, visibility of the abdominal organs, basically compared to the USG, CT, MRI, radiology. And we can see the size and the discolorations of the organs or any abnormalities of the particular organ, and you can deal with the treatment and diagnosis, and if possible, you can go for the surgery. It explores new modality examining internal organs, easier way than the conventional method, and we can diagnose it and we can go for the further diagnosis. Compared to the diagnostic modalities like USG, radiography, the laparoscopy particularly having an advantage of diagnosis as well as therapeutic. Immediately you can go for the treatment or you can go for the removal of that particular organ or you can undergo for the performance of that particular surgery. While laparoscopy, basically in small wounds are there. Basically in animal, the large size of wound, the animals interfere with the wound and basically the sutures gives way and possible complications, lesions of the wound possibilities are there. That's why small wound is created because of the insertion of the laparoscope and different pores. It is a minimal extracellular tissue, soft tissue, blood supply. Less vascular area can be chosen for the selection of the insertion of the port or a particular surgery, and we can avoid the interference of the animal for after postoperative or any postoperative complications. No danger of severe operative injuries are possible because of we are not damaging any major blood vessels or venous plexus or anything. Basically, after conventional method of the surgeries, we are manipulating the many organs and this thing, the intestinal motility and the functioning of the GI tract or other organs is delayed. But in laparoscopy particularly, the functions restart early motility and this thing is there, and also recovery of the animal is also very fast. So no intraoperative complications are possible if you have a very good hand for laparoscopy. So intraoperative complications are very less compared to the conventional methods of like adhesions or any other complications. Less time consuming, less surgical stress, less surgical time particularly, but depends on the hands-on practice of particular laparoscopic surgeon. So it uses less time, less surgical time, less recovery of that particular patient, and that's why most of the time it is called a daycare surgery. So it avoids post-operative complications. Animal goes home early, and it makes owner as well as animal most comfortable. The laparoscopy is defined basically the principles. Basically, according to me, the laparoscopic technique or endoscopic technique is having three sciences involved in that. That is physics, chemistry and biology. Physics basically because the most of the instruments are based on the light source, camera, cable, the fiber optic cables are physics is involved in that, the light source, camera and other instruments, the endoplater. That's why this physics is involved in the chemistry. Basically we need some chemicals, anesthetics for the induction of the anesthesia, maintenance of the anesthesia. And the biology, basically you want should know the anatomy of the particular animal, abdominal structures or any other distance. That's why this combination of physics, chemistry and biology. This then that's it was first is the image production. There is a light source. Light source is very much important as far as concerned light source, but you have a very good light source, xenon light source or maybe halogen light source. Basically nowadays xenon light source is used, and this telescope, good quality telescope and camera should be there. Whenever one should want to start a laparoscopy unit, one should have a reputed company's this light source, camera and telescope. The other accessories of scissor or any other accessories we can use there's local made or something, and you can reduce the cost of laparoscope. But as far as concerned the camera light source, telescope and camera, one should not compromise in the quality because it gives a very good picture or vision while during examination, exploration of the cavities or organs and during the surgery. The pneumoperineum is an insufflation of carbon dioxide. Basically carbon dioxide is used nowadays, and most of the reporters, scientists recommended carbon dioxide is readily absorbed in the blood and it can be thrown out. But compared to other gases like nitrous oxide, room filter air. Particularly in our center, we have studied and compared the insufflation and pneumoprotein creation in pigs and dogs, and we compared the room filter air versus carbon dioxide, and we evaluated which is the better. The both have not created any problem, particularly the air embolism and other issues are there. So that's why this even we have a study with us, there is no complication in room filter air also. Only the room filter creates a combustion effect and fumes during the coagulation of the organs and vessels, and but CO2 it will not give you a clear picture. But during the room filter air, if you are using room filter air in simulation and the coagulation, if fumes are there, you have to stop your procedure to clear the vision and you can start it. So, but room filter air reduces the cost of the surgery. But basically, carbon dioxide is the best gas for the creation of pneumothorax. Pneumothorax is particularly created to create a working space or a ballooning of the abdominal cavity, and which gives a working space for the insertion of the accessories of scissor, maybe forceps, grasping forceps, biceps forceps. So that's why pneumothorax is very important as far as concerned in laparoscopic procedure, and different laparoscopic instruments are important like the scissors, grasping forceps, bipolar cauteries, and other instruments. One should have with this laparoscopic instruments. basically these are the you can call laparoscopic accessories. Basically telescope, then this click line click line click line
Next, repeat it next.
click line scissors, click line grasping forceps. Then this is the trolley setup. Basically, the monitor of should be on top. Basically, the camera, light source, and the telescope is connected with the light source and camera instrument, and which is connected to the monitor. And the monitor is on top. And after that, we should have an endoplater to create the pneumoperitoneum, and one should have thermal unit pottery, which coagulation of the different tissues, vessels, or for the collection of biopsy. During biopsy, we need a thermal unit, and one should have a very good thermal unit, and one should have a recording system, that is idea or software, which stores the images and videos during your surgical procedure, laparoscopic procedure, which are used for the clinical references or diagnosis, as well as for research purpose, and other purposes, references. So this software is must for the storage of the images and videos during your surgical. So this basically EndoTrainer is one of the important instrument which is readily available in the local market, as well as you can fabricate at your level, which is having dome shape, abdomen shape dome, and which is connected with the telescope or a camera, and which is having a different ports. We can insert the scissor, forceps, and you can you can work on the inanimate objects like beads, suturing material. You can use fruits, you can use tomatoes or some other material. You can use chicken pieces, or you can use rabbit or some other lab animals, and you can make a hands-on practice on dry lab, particularly on EndoTrainer. It is a video EndoTrainer, so you will get a hand and eye coordination, and it needs a huge practice, daily practice. Then only you can go to the wet lab, or you can go to the actual on laparoscopic unit, and you can work on the clinical cases or animal. So EndoTrainer plays an important role for the hands-on practice, hand and eye coordination, and this particular unit one should have when going for the laparoscopic surgery. Basically, laparoscopic surgery, the different steps are there. The first is examination of patient. Examination patient, where we have the animal is fit for surgery or not. Basically, we have to go for the clinical examination, physical examination, animal clinical examinations like heart rate, pulse rate, respiratory rate, then this rectal temperature, then capillary rippling time. We have to see, and basically you can go for other examinations like mucous membrane, whether it is ectric or it is cyanotic, and you have to decide the animal whether it is fit for surgery or is not good for surgery. Then basically anesthetic protocols, we have developed different anesthetic protocol and evaluated different anesthetic techniques for the use of laparoscopic, various laparoscopic procedure which are due under field bed condition, which can be used for various laparoscopic procedure as well as conventional procedure. So basically in laparoscopic we need pre-medications like atropine sulfate at the dose rate of 0.04 milligram per kg body weight, and dexamethasone 0.4 milligram per kg body weight. Before and then you sedation or pre-medication, generally we are using xylazine, diazepam, aspromazine, butorphanol, dexmedetomidine, then trifluomazine. The many drugs are available, but routinely available in the market and readily available in the field. Basically, trifluomazine we are using at the dose rate of 1 milligram per kg body weight, aspromazine at the dose rate of 1.4 milligram per kg body weight intravenously, or you can use xylazine at the 1 milligram per kg body weight. Even diazepam also can be used up to 1 milligram per kg body weight intravenously. The pre-medications or pre-anesthetics. And basically for induction of anesthesia, we generally use ketamine. Also we are using dogs at 10 milligram per kg body weight, in cats 44 milligram per kg body weight. Even we can use propofol at the dose rate of 5 milligram per kg. The thiopentone also can be used up to dose rate of 15 milligram and an average 15 milligram per kg body weight intravenously. But as we have evaluated many anesthetic techniques, the propofol is very good for induction of the anesthesia, which is having quick induction and this proper muscle relaxation. So propofol is very good as a anesthetic for induction of 5 milligram per kg body weight. For maintenance of anesthesia, we can use isoflurane, you can use sevoflurane, you can halothane also, and we can maintain the animal longer period. As compared to conventional method, initial worker need a more period for the surgery, more time for surgery. So we need a maintenance of anesthesia. So isoflurane or sevoflurane can be used for the maintenance anesthesia at the rate of 1 to 2.5%. You can go up to 5% if less depth of the anesthesia is there. And you can use the anesthetic machine inbuilt with ventilator if you are going for the thoracoscopy or some other emergency thoracic surgeries. So that will be a better option. And even if you don't have this inhalation anesthesia, you can go for the CRI, continuous rate of infusion with propofol, or you can use infusion pumps, and you can calculate the doses are going in over a period of time. So this type of anesthesia can be used. And as far as concerned preparation of animal before anesthesia, 12 to 24 hours fasting is very much important. You have to GI tag, you have to empty the bladder, and you have to prepare the animal in proper way for the particular laparoscopic surgery. And position of animal is particularly the tender bug, all 4 legs up. This is the animal is connected to the anesthetic machine with the connected to the endotracheal tube and anesthetic machine for the maintenance of the anesthesia. These are the different pre-medicated medicines like atropine, dexamethasone, espromazine, propofol, and isoflurane. These are the anesthetic machine, and the animal is connected to the anesthetic machine during the maintenance of the anesthesia. So different vaporizers can be used for isoflurane and sevoflurane. So this is the total trolley setup. The animal is on tender bug position, all 4 legs up, and legs of the animal towards the trolley, which is having monitor, endoplator, light source camera, and everything, the cautery unit, and the head should be towards the anesthetic machine or towards this thing. And we have fabricated a special table which can be made V shape by manipulation by hand or with the remote control. You can make the V shape of the table. You can make a flat. You can tilt left side, right side. You can tilt to the down side or up side. Accordingly, you can change the position of the animal during laparoscopic surgery. So this type of particular tables we have fabricated, and we have 10 numbers of tables. Such tables are there for the laparoscopy surgery. So basically, whenever we go for the laparoscopic surgery, the creation of pneumoporitrim is most important. So for creation of pneumoporitrim, we need a Veress needle. Veress needle having a phalangeal movement, and which is having connection with we can connect to the endoplator. Basically, the Veress needle, one should have a skill to pass a Veress needle. It is like a IV. When we give IV, we heard a sound, which is not a sound, which is a feel from the hand to the brain. So we are piercing the cut field, or you can connect it to your tough vessels, and you will feel a sound. So like that, you will feel the sound after piercing the Veress needle. Basically, before passing the Veress needle, you have to take a small nick on the skin below the umbilicus or parallel to the umbilicus as per the size of the surgeon. Small nick with the scalpel number 11 or 15, and you can pass. And the Veress needle is having piercing end and blunt end, and blunt end having a one vent, and through that vent air is going inside the abdominal cavity. So you just press it, the piercing end goes to the muscle, subcutaneous part, muscle, and it pierces the peritoneum. Once it cuts the peritoneum, it's a tough connective tissue, then you will feel that you are in the abdominal cavity. So this is the, it depends on practice. But many people may go in the muscle or maybe in subcutaneous part or somewhere. So for that, once you pass the Veress needle, you have to go for the hanging drop system. You can take some normal saline or distilled water in the syringe and pour in the this Veress needle. If the whole distilled water or normal saline goes inside, so it means the abdominal cavity, we are in abdominal cavity. If it is not in abdominal cavity, the water remain or a normal saline remain in the varus needle only. So that is a one can test the by hanging drop test whether you are in abdominal cavity or somewhere else. And if you are somewhere else, you have to redirect it, and again you can go for the hanging drop test. So then after that you connect the varus needle with the endoplator for insufflation or create an pneumoperitoneum or ballooning of the abdomen. In general, in dog we are creating pneumoperitoneum from 11 mm to 16 mm depending on the size of dog. In cats particularly we can use 6 mm of the air at the rate of the 20 liter per minute, and the air goes inside. While passing air, you just tap on the abdomen so that the mesentery or any other mediastinum or any other ligaments or anything should not touch to the needle. So you keep on tapping, you will get a resonating sound. So it means you are in the air is going in the abdominal cavity, and you can ensure it and ballooning is there. So accordingly, you can create a pneumoperitoneum from 11 mm to 16 mm depends on the size of the dog. The small dog you have to reduce up to the 8 mm also. In miniature dogs, small breed dogs. In large dogs like Saint Bernard or Great Dane, you can go up to 16, 18 also. But it depends on the clinical experience and in daily practice. And in cats, you have to 5 to 6 mm you can use for creation of pneumoperitoneum. After creation of pneumoperitoneum, you can remove the this varus needle, and from that part you can just increase little bit incision on the skin, and you can insert the primary port, or you can say working port. So primary port which is used for the insertion of the telescope, and that particular port, this telescope the facility of wall for the creation of maintenance of the pneumoperitoneum. Basically, we are using 10 mm telescope, 5 mm telescope with 0 degree or 30 degree. And the ports generally we are using 6 mm for 5 mm telescope, and for 10 mm telescope we are using 11 mm of the telescope. Trocar, sorry. And the trocars are of two types, plain and corrugated. Generally in animals, corrugated trocars are very useful because they remain on the place. If you use the plain trocar, so if the movement of animal is there, inadequate anesthesia is there and pain is there, it may displace the trocar, and this goes to the and may possibly damage the adjacent structure. Basically, once you pass the this primary trocar, you can go for the these are once you pass the primary trocar, then you have to go for the insertion of the secondary trocar, or you can do working ports. You can pass secondary port under the guidance of the telescope, or once you pass the telescope from the primary, you explore the abdominal cavity, examine the abdominal cavity. If there is any damage due to varus needle or insertion of primary trocar, you examine it. And if it is everything is okay, go for the insertion second port under the guidance of the telescope. And you can pass the accessories like scissor or grasping forceps for the and you can use 2 port system or 3 port system. We have single port system also. With single port system, telescope is having telescope, camera, as well as a working channel also. From single port also we can do some surgeries like orectomy or some collection of biopsy or something like that. So basically, once you pass the primary port, secondary port, and this tertiary port, you have to examine the whole abdominal cavity, evaluation of the whole abdominal viscera. Further secondary and tertiary port, or if needed, are inserted. This is the picture of primary port, and secondary and tertiary ports are there for working channel. This is the abdominal internal abdominal organs are visible after exploration of the abdominal cavity. So animal is particularly on this position most of the times for the laparoscopic and tender population with 3 port system. This is the second accessory port. These are the laparoscopic visualization of the abdomen. Surgical procedures can be performed: orectomy, orectomy, cryptotomy, retained testicles can be removed comfortably compared to the conventional method. Vasectomy, abdominal examination, cholecystectomy, gastropexy, gastric lication, lap-assisted cystotomy, uh, cystotomy by laparoscopy, lap-assisted gastrotomy, enterotomy, removal of the spleen tumor, collection of biopsy of spleen, liver, and kidney, other organs. The laparoscopic orectomy, particularly, you have to use either single port, double port, and or three port system. Also, you have to grasp the ovaries. We have to coagulate, or you can suture by suture material the ovarian plexus towards the uterine end and ovarian end, and you can coagulate with the cautery unit or thermal unit, and you can, after coagulation, complete coagulation, ensuring of or once you are confident that the complete coagulation and ligation is there, you can cut it and you can remove the ovaries. These are some pictures of grasping of ovary coagulation and removal of the ovary. You can see that after removal of the ovary, the small incisions are there less than 1 centimeter. There is no problem of wound dehiscence or suture, giving suture way. The wounds can be sutured either by Vicryl or any other suture material, nylon, or you can use the adhesive glues for the closing of the wound. Very small wounds are there. So laparoscopic, this cryptotomy retained testicle is a very good method. We have evaluated and compared the conventional method of removal of retained testicle as well as lap-assisted removal of retained testicle. Comparative to conventional method, we have to search the testicle in pelvic cavity, and this thing is very difficult, and then the manipulation of the organs and this thing, the pulling the testicle outside the incision in conventional method is very difficult, quite difficult. But in laparoscopy particularly, you can identify the testicle, you can coagulate the spermatic cord comfortably, and you can cut it and you remove it comfortably, and it is in less time and it's very comfortable to the patient, and early recovery is there, and this is very good method for the identification as well as removal of the retained testicle in cryptotic cases. So this is the coagulation of the cauterization of the spermatic cord. This is the again coagulation. This is the cutting of the spermatic cord, and the testicle is removed. This is some other procedures can be done. You can go for the liver biopsy, you can go for the spleen biopsy comfortably. After collection of the biopsy, the remaining part, bleeding part, can be cauterized, and comfortably you can stop the bleeding, which is not possible in conventional method by suturing or this thing, the organs like liver and this spleen or kidney. So you can comfortably collect the biopsy. But that's why the laparoscopy is having advantage or USG or other method. Here you can do the where the some undiagnosed abdominal lesions are there, which can be diagnosed with laparoscopy. If the lesions or tumors or anything is there, even large size tumors can be removed by suction irrigation and crushing. But if not possible, at least you can collect the biopsy and you can send for the histopathology, and you can think about the treatment. So this is that's why the laparoscopy is useful for the therapeutic as well as diagnostic method. So these are the pictures of the collection of the spleen biopsy, pancreas biopsy. Then after completion of the surgical procedures, particularly, you have to end the procedure. Basically, in laparoscopy, 3 types of involvement. In conventional method, what we have surgery and anesthesia and surgery, two procedures are involved. In laparoscopy, particularly, we have involved anesthesia, then creation of pneumoperitoneum and surgery. So little more trace is there. Basically, any anesthetic techniques are cardiopulmonary depression. Again, we are creating pneumoperitoneum and animal in Tenderberg position. Basically, so it makes you more pressure on diaphragm because of the pneumoperitoneum, and again the cardiopulmonary depression could be there. That's how we evaluated more anesthetic techniques which are suitable for this laparoscopic procedure. So that's why third risk is involved in laparoscopy, that is creation of pneumoperitoneum. Then after completion of the procedures like orectomy, orectomy, lap-assisted cystotomy, and this thing, anything. So you have to terminate the end the procedure. The instruments, telescopes are removed carefully. All instruments are costly. You have to take care. And desuppletion of the abnormal cavity should be that you have to remove the air from the trocar, working trocar, all three trocars, and then after remove the air from the abdominal cavity, then canals are removed, the trocars are removed properly. The small wounds due to trocarization do be are closed by the suturing or by using adhesive glues. Then different potential surgeries are can be performed or can undertaken, like adrenalectomy, correction of prosthetic shunts, cholecystomy, hernia repair. Basically, we have started the repair of hernia. We have repaired 3-4 cases of diaphragmatic hernia, particularly in cats and dogs. With the help of laparoscopy, diagnosis and removal of adhesions with the laparoscopy and suturing of the diaphragm by the laparoscopy, and you can say laparoscopic assisted hernia, diaphragmatic hernia repair we have performed many cases, and we have received gold medal for that particular surgical procedure in ISPS. Then removal of abdomen and intestinal masses is possible. The endometritis, pyometra cases can be treated. In vitro fertilization, the laparoscopy can be used. Follicular oocyte collection, laparoscopy can be used comfortably. Basically, any good thing having some other sides also, complications are always there. So basic complication in laparoscopy is while passing the varus needle. The passing of varus needle needs a huge experience. Your daily practice. So basically, while passing varus needle, you may go in subcutaneous, you may be in the muscle, you may be in the other part, and you can create this insert the gas or in subcutaneous part. Possibility is there. Again, you may pierce the spleen or adjacent structures, maybe mesentery or intestine or any organs during its insertion of the varus needle. That is the most possibility, and most of the initial workers do this. That's why we have to do the daily practice and routine practice. So possibility of this injury to the adjacent organ and hemorrhage is possible. But once you pass the telescope from the primary port, you can visualize it, any injury due to varus needle or something. You can cauterize it or you can stop the hemorrhages. Then insufflation in subcutaneous edema possibility is there because of the wrong insertion of varus needle. Accidental cauterization of the abdominal wall, adjacent structure or other vessel is possibilities there. Hemorrhage at the site of transfixation basically during the suturing. It needs a good practice. Possibility of hemorrhages are there. But before termination of the procedure, after completion of the surgical procedure, before termination of the laparoscopic procedure or before desuppletion, removal of gases, you have to re-again examine it re-again abdominal cavity or explore it properly, any complications or anything is there. Then hemorrhages at the site of this possibility is there. Gas embolism is not possible in CO2, but if you are using root filter air, possibilities are there. But sometimes this because of the cardiopulmonary depression or any other issues, gas embolism possibilities are there. If such things are there, you can connect that. You can connect the animal for the multipara. And if any some issues are there, immediately you can change the side of animal. You can take the animal and left lateral recumbency, or you can manage the critical situation. Then where to learn this laparoscopy? This is the center, laparoscopy training center, veterinary minimal invasive surgical training center at Mumbai Veterinary College, Department of Surgery and Radiology. So basically this project is basically we started our work. Initially we brought one laparoscopy unit through donations, courtesy of the clients by giving good services. And after that we submitted the project to the government, and government has approved this project of 3 crore for establishment of improvement of diagnostic skill and surgical art of field veterinary for maintenance and production of the health of livestock through laparoscopy diagnosis and treatment. So it was established in 2011 to 13, and funding agency was Archivad. The objectives were the strengthening of the Department of Surgery, improve the infrastructure of the Department of Surgery, to impart the excellent training to veterinarians and medicos through laparoscopy for the diagnosis and treatment of the animal as well as human, to train research workers of veterinarian and medical, and to train the postgraduate and PhD student. Currently, we are having very good dry lab, which are having 10 endo trainers, dry lab, which are video endo trainers, and with all accessories like scissors, forceps, grasping forceps, and some other inanimate materials for the development or development of the skill or hand and eye coordination of the trainees. So basically, first we give the training on the dry lab, and this very good dry lab facilities available in our center. The animal house approved with CPSPCA. Basically, the porcine and canine facilities approved by CPSPCA, and it is as per the norms of a CPSPCA constructed, and we can keep 20 dogs and 10 pigs comfortably for the research purpose or experimental purpose. Full picture training hall is there, full furnished. This unit will equipped with undertake laparoscopy training, research project for veterinary students as well as human laparoscopic surgeons. And we are having 10 working stations, particularly wet lab of laparoscopy with all accessories. This is our endo trainers. 10 endo trainers are there, where we can give the training for the hand and eye coordination. This is the training undergoing for the dry lab practice. This is our wet lab having 10 working stations of laparoscopy with monitor, this light source, camera, software, then endoblator, this insufflation unit, then cautery unit, and all different accessories with the table which can be manipulated in different way. We can make V shape or we can tilt on sides, all 4 sides comfortably. So this is the whole trolley setup of the laparoscopy unit, and all the instruments are purchased from the good quality company and reputed company car stores. This is our animal house, CPSCA approved animal house, which is having facility of dog kennels. 20 dogs can be sheltered properly as per the CPSCA norms. Then we have a porcine house where we can shelter 10 pigs or porcine for comfortably at this shelter. And this is our laparoscopy training hall. So more than 50 participants can be accommodated in this particular hall, and which the lectures and other presentations can be conducted. So this is practicing. Dr. Uddhav Raj is giving hands-on practice for the this endo trainer to the trainees, and giving the tips how to learn laparoscopy on dry lab and wet lab. As the initial training we undertake, basically always interaction with the human surgeons is always better. Before beginning or starting this laparoscopic procedure in our department, we have interacted many laparoscopic surgeons in Mumbai, around Mumbai, and we invited them for the help of the and center also. So initial primary training was conducted under the guidance of human surgeon for the PG, PhD students and staff of the Bombay Veterinary College. This is the initial training. My mentor, Dr. Sarkar, is also there. This is the research project of one of my PG student. This for laparoscopic oropharectomy. The hands-on wet lab training undergoing. These are some pictures of the hands-on training to the participants on wet lab. These are the release of practical manual with ICR delegates or dignitaries. There are some other pictures. Growing laparoscopic family where this is the demonstration of anesthesia and laparoscopy with, during the ICR training. There are some other participants performing laparoscopy. participant performing laparoscopy, particularly we give more hands-on and dry lab and light lab on cadaver. So these are some other pictures on wet lab. So this is the hope we will make. This is the picture of the participant along with our beloved associate dean, Professor Ranade, in front of the one of the oldest college, Bombay Veterinary College, Mumbai Veterinary College. Basically, we have done various achievements. Awards are there. Masters and doctoral projects we have completed more than 24. We have more research recommendations. I'm proud that most of the research work is completed on lap-assisted cystotomy, lap-assisted enterotomy. This comparison of conventional versus laparoscopic removal of retained testicles, this bariatric surgery. The PhD program is undertaken by Dr. S.D. Tripathi, which is very good project. One of the international project he completed on bariatric surgery on dogs particularly, and gastropexy. Different procedures we have undertaken. The thoracoscopy we started last 2-3 years back. Dr. S.V. Gaikwad, one of the PhD student, worked on thoracoscopy for the collection of the biopsy of the pleura, lungs, and to diagnose and treatment, to do the treatment in thoracic disorders. And he also completed and submitted the PhD thesis, also received award for the same. Then we have completed many research trials for the PG students, collaborated with the anatomy department of college, surgery department of Urban Veterinary College, and other constituted colleges of the MAPSU. And most of the people are coming and doing their research and clinical trials also under this laparoscopy unit. We have many doing regular clinical cases also. We have undertaken more than 10 3 days training for the veterinarians and other delegates, this basically field veterinarians and private practitioners. 1 day hands-on training is also conducted for the laparoscopic the surgeons, human laparoscopic surgeons. And again, we have 1 day hands-on training program, 5 trainings conducted with the collaboration with the Mediterranean India Limited. So we have many research articles, and we have trained, we have visited many other states also and given a demonstration to the academic faculty, staff, students, and of the Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, and military hospital of the Meerut also. So we, with the great help of my PG students, particularly Dr. Ashish Pawar, Dr. Dharmaraj Bole, they were there during the establishment of my laparoscopy unit and scheme. Dr. Ashish Pawar helped a lot for the establishment and documentation and everything, and he has played a major role. Basically, my PG and PhD students played a major role for the establishment of this laparoscopic unit. They have developed various techniques. They are innovative, and they have done many techniques, developed anesthetic techniques and laparoscopic techniques under this training center. So I am proud of my PG and PhD students. Many students are there, but particularly Dr. Ashish Pawar and Dr. Dharmaraj Bole worked more during the establishment. And lastly, I thank my mentor, Dr. Sarkate, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Paturkar. He was associate during establishment of laparoscopy unit, and other university authorities. Today, present authority, Dean DI, Director of Research, the Director of Extension and Technology, and other authorities of the university for the great support for this training program, as well as establishment of laparoscopy training center. Once again, I welcome all the delegates, and they can enjoy this 3 days program. The remaining instrumentation and detailed surgical procedures and everything will be included. This is the primary introductory information I have given. Any queries or anything that are online, you can ask, and remaining enjoy the remaining session. Be safe, be healthy, take care during this critical situation of COVID 19. Thank you very much.
Sir, we are going to start a question and answer.
Yes.
We still have 12 minutes.
Anybody have questions?
Participants, if you have any question, you can please ask in the Q&A section. Sir, can you start your video, sir?
Yes. I am not able to listen properly.
The question is, hello?
Yes.
The question is, to produce a pneumoperitoneum, is the air insufflation dependent on body weight?
Not. Actually, it is basically at the rate of 20 liter per minute you can increase, and we can insert the air in normal dogs, particularly this up to 20 kg LNMM of the pressure, and if larger dog, you have to go up to the 16. That's why I tell it needs a clinical experience. It not depends on body weight. But you have to from average 11 to 16 mm of the air in circulation, you can create the pneumoperitoneum. Basically, this as such there is no any references as per the body weight particularly. But you can create the pneumoperitoneum up to 11 mm in average dog, and you can go up to higher 16 to 18 also in large dogs, and you can reduce in small dogs from 11 to 8 to 10 also. So it needs a clinical experience, and and you have to create the working space, and you have to monitor again the cardiopulmonary system of the respiration and heart rate and everything, and otherwise more pneumoperitoneum may create a problem and pressure on the diaphragm.
Sir, the second question is, post-operative, which port has to be removed first?
Post-operative,
which port has to be removed first?
Basically, post-operatively, once you complete the laparoscopic procedure, you have to examine by primary port with telescope any negligence or any complications are there during surgery, any hemorrhages or any problem is there. You have to remove the telescope first, and then you can release the air from all three ports, and you can remove any port. Basically, most of the times we can remove a secondary port while removing of the organ or ori or any particular tissue. So secondary port we remove initially, but simultaneously we can remove after decirculation or removal of the air. You can remove all the port, any port you can remove as per your choice.
Sir, can you stop the sharing, because I'm not able to send your video online, sir. You have to stop the sharing. Your sharing presentation, sir. Can you stop it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think yes. Now your video is live, sir. Sir, the third question is, how much does the endotrainer cost?
The endotrainer, basically the market, if you go for the good quality endotrainer from the reputed company, it may cost 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs. But if you fabricate at your level, it may be fabricated in 20,000 also. But what endotrainer we are having, it is costing near about 1 lakh with camera, all accessories, the scissors, forceps, then grasping forceps and other accessories, suturing material, along with the monitor. It is near about 1 lakh to 1 lakh 25,000.
I would like to add to it, sir. with your permission, because during Dr. Shalaka's PhD work, we did make a endo trainer at home. I mean, which costed very less. If we have the permission of yours, maybe tomorrow in the lecture of Dr. Shalaka, she can also show some of the slides for it, sir.
Sure, sure. One thing I want to add, Dr. Arvind, please, for this online course, Dr. Arvind worked very hard, and this all efforts, because of the efforts of Dr. Arvind, we could come together online, and he's a master in computer. Basically, I call him software surgeon. Basically, he's a MSc surgery, but he's a more expert in computer. So thanks to Dr. Arvind Chauhan for this particular opportunity given to me and my center for online course.
Well, that's very kind of you, sir. But we still have few questions, sir, from the participant. The fourth question is, my question is, sir said table is V-shaped. I could not understand. He could not understand why the table is V-shaped.
Basically, whenever you do the laparoscopic surgery, the table is when animal bring on the tender bug position. So it make the table V shape by manipulation. The two plates are there. So you can make V shape, or you can make a vertical one plate vertical and one plate horizontal also. So you can bring the animal in lateral decommission table also, and you can, if you make a V shape, there will be less movement of the animal. Animal remain in a position throughout the laparoscopic procedure.
This question was from Dr. Kohli, and there is a question, sir, that the user, he wants you to explain more about Veress needle again. I would like to add to it that this lecture, this stream would be available for watching completely. I will add the links on the website. Okay, so you can watch the whole presentation of Dr. Khandekar again.
Basically, one more, I have to add it. Basically, yes, we are going to show the live videos, how to pass insertion of Veress needle, different ports and everything. So again, one or two presentations are there, particularly Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Shahir Gaikwad, Dr. Shalaka. They will definitely show how to pass Veress needle properly, and videos will be available for that. And don't worry about that, and you will get the better idea during watching that videos, the presentation for the next presentation, definitely.
So another question is, can I know what anesthetic protocol for pigs?
Basically, in pigs, I have worked on pigs. Basically, my research topic was the diagnosis and treatment of the abdominal disorder in dogs and pigs. So I have used anesthesia in pigs, particularly xylazine and ketamine. So best anesthesia in pigs is particularly xylazine and which do the anesthetic muscle relaxation, as well as the maintenance can be done with the incremental doses of the xylazine ketamine, 50% of the initial dose or less or more according to your judgment, and you can maintain it properly. So as far as concerned pigs, xylazine ketamine is the best anesthetic protocol.
Another question is, what about lab animal laparoscopy?
Basically, lab animals are used particularly for laparoscopy. On dog can be used, but we have to take the approval from the CPSPCA and the ethical committee of the ethical committee of the that particular institute. So rabbit can be used comfortably, and other animals can be used comfortably, the larger size. But particularly rabbit can be used. We have completed one research project, particular Dr. Ashish Pawar. He done work on rabbit, the ovaryectomy with coagulation versus this suturing of the ovarian pedicle, and in dogs also, the both coagulation and this thing. The rabbit can be used, but before using the lab animals, we have to take the permission from the ethical committee of that particular institute.
There is another question from Roxanne Karmacharya. I have a question regarding anesthesia. If the procedures can be carried out in total intravenous anesthesia?
Yeah, that is possible. Basically, initially we were not having this anesthetic machine. And we have worked under field condition also most of the times. The anesthetic machine is not there. We have mirror and other thing where anesthetic machines was not there, but you can give incremental doses of intravenous anesthesia as and when required for the maintenance, particularly propofol. Whatever the dose is used initially, the same 60% to 70% dose can be given intravenously for the incremental dose, or you can use dilute the propofol in the RL, and you can start continuous rate of infusion, that is the CRI, and which is the best method for laparoscopy for long duration surgery, not in small animal also, it is in use in large animal also. The continuous rate of infusion with mixture of ketamine, xylazine and guaifenesin, or alone propofol can be given as an intravenous this continuous rate of infusion, and animal can be maintained comfortably for the under anesthesia.
Okay. The next question is very interesting. I'm sure, sir, you are going to get excited because you always love giving hands-on training. There is a question, and the participant is asking, will there be any hands-on training opportunities after the COVID-19 is over?
Yes, definitely. But because definitely training regularly we are arranging a training, and if the particular participants are coming in group, particular 5 or 10, it will be better for us, and definitely they can approach us anytime, and we'll conduct the training on clinical cases and on cadaver also, and on we'll give the good exposure to the those are aspirant to get the training.
The next question is from Dr. Divyesh and Kilawala. For pneumoperitoneum, 2 liter per minute or 20 liter per minute?
Actually, it is a 2 liter is not 20 liter per minute. Basically, it goes up to the abdomen carotid, and you have to monitor the abdominal resonance and this thing, and pressure on the insufflator LNMM, and automatically it monitors.
Okay, sir. What is a wet lab and what is a dry lab?
Basically, wet lab means actually work on animal or patient, clinical cases or cadaver. Dry lab means we have to work on the endotrainer, video endotrainer, where inanimate objects like beads, needles, suturing material, or you can use chicken pieces or vegetables for the cutting practice, or this grasping the objects, and to develop a hands-on skill and hand and eye action from video to the monitor.
There are few more questions. It's all about the dose of CO2. Then there are 2 more questions about explaining the Veress needle insertion. But as you said earlier, that there would be more videos explaining this. So I think I'll request the users to attend the next lectures, upcoming lectures today and tomorrow, to get the live video. So maybe they will have a better understanding, sir.
Yes, definitely. Because we have a live video of demonstration of insertion of Veress needle, trocar, and other surgical procedures also. You can enjoy and you can see it properly.
Okay, next question from Dr. Santosh. I know, sir, we are running out. We are past 11 o'clock, but I think since the next session starts at 11:30, we can take few more questions, with your permission.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. So Veress needle has sizes or animal specificity? This is from Dr. Santosh.
I am not getting you. Veress needle
has size or animal specificity? Is there different?
Veress needle is unique for human as well as animal practice also same. And nowadays, most of the human surgeons, they are not using Veress needle directly. They are inserting the primary port and creating a pneumoperitoneum. Because of the routine practice and clinical experience, they are not. Most of the human practitioners, they are not using Veress needle nowadays. But initially, initial workers should use Veress needle for the creation of pneumoperitoneum. There is no as such variation in size for animals and humans.
So another question is from Ganesh Ranabhat. how can we detect we have reached abdomen other than through the hanging drop test?
Once you pass the insertion needle, you have to pour the either distilled water or NS, normal saline, and it goes directly to the abdominal cavity easily. So it means you are in abdominal cavity, but the water or normal saline remain in the varus needle only if you are somewhere in the muscle or subcutaneous part or before you are beneath the peritoneum. So it will not go in the abdominal cavity easily. Even you are in the muscle also, it will not go, the normal saline or distilled water will remain in varus needle only, it will not go anywhere easily. But if you are in abdominal cavity, definitely it goes in the. So this hanging dog method is very good for the confirmation whether you are in abdominal cavity or somewhere.
Sir, is this a life-threatening procedure?
Basically, any surgical procedure, if you go in human doctor to remove the tooth, or a dentist or anything, they always take the consent, and any surgical procedure, maybe conventional or anything, anesthesia, always risk is there. But it depends on the hands-on practice and clinical experiences. So if once is confident, then it is not life-threatening process.
Cost of the unit, please. These questions are from many users.
Basically, initially only I told the total cost if you want to take the laparoscopic unit with all accessories from a reputed company like Olympus, Karl Storz or Richard Wolf or any other reputed company, it may go up to 30 lakhs. But in our conditions, you can reduce the cost. You don't compromise in the quality of camera, light source and telescope. These can be purchased from the this reputed company, and the pottery and insufflation unit and other accessories which can be taken from the most of the human practitioners. They are using this Indian made and local made all accessories, ports, insufflation unit, pottery unit. But my suggestion is that as far as concerned camera, telescope and light source, one should not compromise in the quality of the instrument. But it will go for the combination of both, the cost can be reduced up to the 15 lakhs.
Okay. There is another question from Sujan Shrestha. Can international students apply for this training course?
Yes, definitely. Always welcome.
Okay. Can we do?
Yeah, but they have to complete the procedure before. What are the this international procedures are there that they have to complete?
So let's do a very rapid fire type of question answer, because we still have many questions are there. Let me try to take the logical ones. Can we do pyometra procedure by using laparoscopy?
Yes, definitely, but it needs a very good all accessories or instrument equipment with you. You can remove the this uterus or pyometra contain uterus comfortably, but it needs a little bit more hands-on practice and good accessories like suction irrigation and other things are there.
Average time required for typical lapro-assisted surgery. This is from Vijay Kumar.
Basically, hands-on practice. When we started our laparoscopic orectomy, you used to take an hour, 1.5 hours. Nowadays, we can do it within 10 to 15 minutes. But basically, it needs depends on the hands-on practice of that particular surgeon. So how much time he takes for the surgery and how much hands-on practice and clinical experience one should have. It depends on the particular surgeon. If you, some people are more faster than some other people. But on an average, half an hour is essential for surgical procedure, and for complete preparation of the patient to the completion of procedure, 1 hour is sufficient.
So there is a question from Dr. Surya Das, Assistant Professor, Kerala. What is your suggestion on midline 3-port or 2-port technique? Which would be better, Trendelberg position with 3-port or ventral midline? Any comparative study done on that, sir?
Basically, ventral midline will not help, basically because of the falciparum ligament and other ligament get interfere during the insertion of port and visualization of the organs. So for that, this first port just above the umbilicus, lateral to the umbilicus, and other are the 3-port system as per the size of the animal and which organ you want to approach, particularly what is the targeted surgery or targeted organ. Accordingly, you can insert the secondary port and tertiary port.
Okay. There is a question, if you could arrange a hands-on training program, sir, please. Let me answer this, sir. Since we have the emails of all the participants, any future training program, hands-on or live, we will send the announcement to all the current participants so that if it's possible for them, they can always join back.
Definitely.
Yes, and there are. Is it possible for young pups and senile dogs, sir?
Is it possible?
For young pups and
yes. Only you have to create pneumoperidium with less pressure.
And there is a multiple questions, sir. I mean, they're from Dinesh, then they're from Dr. Naveen Kumar Verma. They are asking, what if there is an organomegaly, okay, or organomegaly or a splenic tumor, or what happens if you accidentally puncture some organs? Do we have to go for open abdominal surgery after that, or how to manage such accidents?
If you have a very good accessories, suction irrigation and other accessories, you can remove large size of tumor also. If you don't have, once you diagnose with the laparoscopy procedure, large tumor or any other this thing there, you can diagnose it, and if you can go for the conventional method of surgery. Many surgeries, such surgeries we have undertaken. We have diagnosed with laparoscopically, and it was not possible by laparoscopically, so we converted into conventional method and we treated it.
Okay.
Particularly one case of a cryptorchid, large type of testicle tumor was there. We diagnosed with the laparoscopically, but it was not possible to remove by laparoscopically. We converted into conventional method and removed the near about half kg of the testicle tumor of that golden retriever dog.
So there are still almost 400 questions. It's really overwhelming response. But I think we should be concluding now. There are one more important question, whether there would be any notes and okay. The user is asking if there would be any notes or videos, study material. So let me answer that all the presentations, all the videos which are being shown will be made available on a daily basis by evening, and the links would be updated on the main site, as well as we would also be giving study material. So everything that you see here, plus some of the study material will be provided for everyone. Due to shortage of time, due to overwhelming response, we could not arrange everything in one go. We had to change our infrastructure to accommodate so many people. So please keep on checking the website. We'll keep on updating the information out there. And there are 3 messages from Dr. PDS Raghuvanshi, Assistant Professor Dhul. He's really happy and he's congratulating you for the nice presentation.
Thank you, PDS.
And I would like to add here, me and PDS, I call him PDSR. We both had, he's my junior. We both were at Mahu while I was doing MVSC, and he was a tremendous help in getting, getting my research done when I was doing my masters out there. So PDSR, good to hear from you, and it's good to see you here. Let's catch up some other time. How sutures are taken during laparoscopy, sir?
It needs a great practice or regular practice. it needs a 3-port system camera. One person should handle the camera, and other person can be use 2 ports for the grasping of the instrument. This needle and thread, and as we are taking sutures in conventional method, same way we have to take it, but it needs a practice.
I think so. Okay, I think we can conclude now. So I do have an announcement to make to the participants that the next session, that is the next lecture, will be happening at 11:30, and everyone has to take the link for it from the site. This session ends here. This join link will no longer work. All right. So you have any concluding remarks, sir?
Once again, thank you, Dr. Arvind, the main source for the online course for small animal laparoscopy, Dr. Shalaka, Dr. Tripathi, Dr. Gaikwad, Dr. Komal Chaudhary, my PG and PhD students, and once again I thank you to all the delegates from India and outside the India, and all are welcome for hands-on training, actual hands-on training. Anytime you can approach me. Thank you very much giving us opportunity. Once again, I thank you all the university authority, ministries, and all the persons involved directly, indirectly for the organizing this particular online course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm really sorry for the we could not answer all the questions. We still have 400 plus questions. Due to shortage of time, we won't be able to answer all of them. But I will go through the questions and we'll try to incorporate answers for this in the upcoming sessions. If not today, then surely by tomorrow we'll try to address some of them. With this, we'll conclude this session. Thanks again, Dr. Khandekar, sir, for the
Thank
amazing
you.
lecture.
Take care. Be safe.
Yes, sir. And once again, I'll repeat, this stream ends here. For the next lecture at 11:30, you have to take the session 2 join link from the site. Temporarily, the join 1 link will be removed from the website right now. Okay, sir. We'll end now. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.